Games that offer up engaging side activities are a blast, as there's more to sink your teeth into than just a single main storyline. Whether you're happy to take on a few of these side quests, as many as your map pulls up in the form of a little exclamation point, or you go the whole hog and use a guide to make sure no stone is left unturned, more content is never a bad thing. That said, these side quests can sometimes be somewhat tricky to uncover. While these missions will all require a little more than usual for you to get into, they are more than worth it. I'm Jess from WhatCulture, and here are the 9 best video game quests triggered at random. Number 9. A Night to Remember. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Unless you're a dragonborn teetotaler with an aversion to taverns, there's a very good chance you found this quest. That said, if you didn't, it might be because it does trigger at random. In order to kick this one off, you'll need to hit level 14 and then saunter into any of Skyrim's local watering holes. You might need to jump around a few inns to locate the subject of this quest, Sam Gwavine, and once you do, he'll challenge you to a drinking contest. As long as you lean in and drink as much as you possibly can, you'll eventually find yourself blacking out after trying to win his staff. You'll wake up in the Temple of Dibella in Markarth, apparently blabbing about marriage and a goat. The first thing you're asked to do is pick up trash from your binge the night before, and given the subtask is indeed pick up trash, a few players decided to put the quest down here. Press on though, and A Night to Remember has you chase leads to find Sam. Along the way, you'll discover you did indeed steal a goat, sell it to a giant, buy a wedding ring from my personal Skyrim wife Ysolda, and make a plan to marry someone in a ruined fort where Sam would be your best man. At the end of the day, it turns out that Sam is in fact the Daedric Prince Sanguine, having a bit of a good time at your expense. But you do get the staff, the Sanguine Rose, for your trouble. Number 8. The Mercies of Knowledge. Red Dead Redemption 2. There are a few different ways to get intel on this stranger mission, but the most common will be a chance encounter by those enjoying a stroll around Saint Denis once they've tucked into Chapter 4. Wander past Professor Andrew Bell III and he'll jump out from the back of his house calling for your attention in helping him find a lot of moonshine. Now this is a 7-part quest, so there's a lot to it if you're up for the challenge. A man in Rhodes then gives you a lead on a wagon replete with moonshine, which you then take back to the professor, at which point you find out you're helping him invent the electric chair. Once you get the all clear to try the chair out from local law enforcement and kidnap an unwilling test subject, you attend the demonstration of the chair. Unfortunately, it all goes sideways, and as the professor tries to insist this is a far more humane way of dealing with criminals, he basically just tortures the guy in the chair. He does eventually die, but the professor also accidentally shocks himself to death in the process. Number 7. The Curse of Onomichi. Yakuza 6: The Song of Life. Yakuza 6, and let's face it, every Yakuza game is a fantastic game that should not be missed, especially if you're a big fan of side content. The franchise and its spin-off Judgment are riddled with sub-stories, many of which crop up at random or take some investigative work to uncover. The Curse of Onomichi is one such sub-story. You'll need to venture to the graveyard at night in Onomichi once you've reached Chapter 4. Doing so will trigger a quest that's a little strange even for Yakuza, as Kiryu says he feels like he's being watched, and then you have to fight literal ghosts. Luckily, these particular ghosts can be punched into oblivion, and since that's Kiryu's specialty, you're good to go. You'll have to return to the area a few times, always during the evening, in order to complete the sub-story, but do so and you'll resolve the regrets the ghosts had about their former lives and unceremonious deaths. And you do that by punching them. This is a Yakuza game after all. It's a little spooky, a little sad, and just one more avenue to showcase how painfully cool Kiryu is. You can't go wrong. Number 6. Without a Trace. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Without a Trace is a funny quest for this list, as you do receive the contract from a local herbalist, which is not all that uncommon, but to achieve the true ending, you'll have to do some more investigating. While picking up a contract off a local notice board is absolutely standard fare for Witcher 3 side quests, things get a little messy from there on out. Otto the herbalist tells you his apprentice has gone missing. Your investigation takes you to a small, almost abandoned village where you discover no trace of him, and an old couple tells you they're pretty sure the apprentice was attacked by wolves. Here, your quest log goes sick, case closed, and tells you to go back and give the herbalist the bad news. You can do just that, or you can trigger the next stage of the quest by noticing the village is covered in blood, and that one gate of the town has a stink trail of rotten meat for Geralt to follow. I personally stumbled on that one on my way out, and to discover there's more to the quest is both satisfying and deeply unsettling, as it turns out the old couple have chopped up the apprentice for food. There's no way to know if they killed him or if it was wolves, as they continue to insist, but you can either let them go on their cannibally way or kill them off to end the quest. Number 5. A Knife in the Dark, The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. While every quest has to trigger somewhat logically in order for you to find it, and this one absolutely does, you're still probably going to be very surprised by how this one kicks off. Or at least I imagine you were surprised if you, like me, played this one when it first came out 15 years ago. Unless you've been attentively listening to the whispers around town about the Dark Brotherhood, you may not have known what was going on when you voluntarily or accidentally killed off an innocent NPC, only to see the words, "Your killing has been observed by forces unknown," appear on your screen. As it happens, the Dark Brotherhood watches murderers, and next time you go to sleep in any safe location, Lucian LeChance, a speaker for the shady organization, will appear to you and ask if you want to join their ranks. This kicks off a series of quests which, in my opinion, are some of the best in the entire Elder Scrolls series. The first, called A Knife in the Dark, is completed by taking on a contract to kill off an old man named Rufio. Doing so will bring you into the Cheydinhal arm of the Dark Brotherhood, where you'll meet your new murdery co-workers, get some new armor, and take on some fantastic quests. Number 4. Democracy in Action, Fallout New Vegas. One of the most interesting quests that you can stumble upon in New Vegas's massive wasteland concerns Vault 11. If you don't trigger this one by finding the front door, you might come across it through the Brotherhood of Steel quest called Still in the Dark, which also has you visit the vault. You'll need to go into the atrium of the vault and access an audio log that tells you more about what went down there. You'll battle your way further in and discover that the inhabitants had been instructed to sacrifice one person each year to ensure the survival of the rest. The small society then evolved to casting the Overseer as the sacrifice. Voting blocks formed, manipulations ensued, a lot of murders took place as laws shifted through each administration, and finally only 5 people remained. In the end, the survivors discovered that not choosing a sacrifice actually caused the vault door to open, which is, really depressing. Given most players won't see this quest coming at all, since there's a good chance you'll just randomly happen upon it while trying to complete a different mission, it's especially painful to unravel how it all went down. Number 3. Acquired Taste, Horizon Zero Dawn. Now this is one of those side quests where if you know, you know, and if you don't, you're gonna love this. In Horizon Zero Dawn, there's a side quest that's super easy to miss, as the area it's in doesn't contain any of the main mission content. So if you're jumping from marker to marker, you're unlikely to find it. Deep within the center of the game world, you can stumble on a man named Bryn. Locate him in his home buried between the walls of the canyon, and he'll ask you to take on a few challenges which involve getting blood from machines. When you return each set of the goods, he'll have a specific vision after ingesting the blood. Each time you complete a portion of the quest, he'll describe his visions, but the final one is the most fascinating. Here he says, and I quote, "But no more stories of the past, all told, all done, future stories. I saw an onrushing storm. The future comes hungry for man and machine. It will catch me, I expect. Catch us all. So enough hunts, enough visions. I'll run, chase that teasing sun to the forbidden west." Yep, that's right, a quest that almost no one stumbled upon actually introduces the plot of the sequel. Pretty cool. Number 2, Iron Fist Alexander's Questline, Elden Ring. Souls fans will know that From Software don't exactly do their side quests in a traditional format, but that isn't to say there aren't very interesting questlines to follow for attentive players. Iron Fist Alexander is a large living jar who you can first encounter in the unfortunate position of being stuck in the ground. You can walk away, sure, or you can whack him a few times to help him out of his predicament. You'll continue to stumble across him as you progress through the game, sometimes as a potential summon, sometimes because he's become stuck again. If you stick with him, your final engagement with him will be a duel at his request. Sadly, this means you'll need to defeat him, but his greatest wish was to be a mighty warrior, and dying in battle is at least an honorable way to go. It's better than being stuck in the ground anyway. Like many Souls side quests, they require initiative, and you'll have to stumble on each subsequent step to trigger the rest of the quest, but it's so worth it for those who can make it to the end. Number 1, Blood on the Ice, The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. This is another one that's pretty tricky to trigger, and you probably won't realize whether you are or aren't meeting the requirements for it until it does or doesn't happen. In order to kick off the Windhelm serial killer whodunit quest Blood on the Ice, you'll need to do a few different things. The first is that you'll have had to visit Windhelm 4 times before the quest can be triggered. Then you'll also need to arrive between 7 PM and 7 AM through the main gate, the docks gate, or by fast traveling. Finally, you'll need to ensure Tova Shadowshield and Aravanya are alive. There's another way of doing this by obtaining a pamphlet about the murder and finding a key to the main manor in town, but that one's a little more straightforward. You can then venture to the graveyard at night and learn about the serial killer currently on the loose. You'll follow the leads, enter the manor, the plot thickens, find more clues, and ultimately catch the killer in the act and be the dragonborn hero I know you are. It's quests like this and the others on this list that you stumble upon out of nowhere which make the worlds they take place in feel all the more alive. So they're worth checking out if you've missed any of them. Let me know down in that comment section if you can think of any other excellent video game quests which trigger at random. As always, I've been Jess from WhatCulture. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you like, you can come say hi to me on my Twitter account where I'm at Jessa McDonald, but make sure you stay tuned to us here for plenty more gaming goodness.